thank you all so much for making time in your schedule to join us. At the outset, I'm Herschel Lutch. I'm one of our Derech Alumni chairmen, and on behalf of myself and our other chairmen, David Charedim, David Mayberg, and Mitch Spielfogel, we're really pleased to be able to bring this series to you. A special thanks to Rabbi Brickman and to Rabbi Altman for freeing up resources at Derech to make all of this possible. And of course, a huge Yasher Kayach to Rabbi Lieber for taking time out of his schedule to prepare and to join all of you today. So without any further ado, we welcome Rabbi Lieber all the way with us from Yerushalayim.
Okay, how you guys doing? Wow. Okay, y'all can hear me? All right. Like this. First of all, it's good to see you guys. And the way you would like this, you know, Hersh said that we're going to talk about 45 minutes. I think it'll be less than that. So, but we'll see how it goes. It's fun. I like seeing all the guys here. It's nice. Okay, we'll do it like this. The thing what I was going to do is the presentation is going to be on tshuva. The aspect on tshuva. We're going to do two parts. The first part is going to be on the benefits of tshuva. Then the second part will be on the process and how to tap into that. Okay, so here we're going to start off with the benefits of tshuva. Now look at this. You know, tshuva means, the word tshuva means that you're going, the word tshuva to return. There's a guy who's growing, and a guy who's doing well, and a guy is, developing. That's all great. It's not tshuva, because that's just, okay, you're growing. It's not a mitzvah. Tshuva means I'm fixing something that was messed up. Now, for those guys who remember some Chumash class and other things, the way it works is that person starts off, we said this in the past, maybe you guys remember this, a person is similar to God. A person messed up. When a person messes up, you become dissimilar. You become, to that extent, based on the intensity of the avera, the frequency, how often it happens, the way you did it. All this makes a person not like God and therefore distant. And then a person has the ability to go back to where he was, to go back to being close, once again, similar to God and therefore close to God. That's what tshuva is. Okay, so that's, now I want to give you a few things about it. In order to understand tshuva, because tshuva is coming back to where you were, you have to understand what an avera is. You have an avera, the avera causes damage, we'll talk about, and then tshuva fixes the damage. So we have to, in order to do, you have to sort of get both things. What is the power, what an avera does, and therefore what tshuva could fix. You had a guy who wanted a promotion in the company. He's working with the company, he wants promotion. So, you know, he's really looking forward to it, and he puts a resume in, and he puts it towards the boss, and he really, really hopes to get it. Better hours, better position, better money, everything. He really, really wants this. Working for years, he really wants his promotion. Really wants to go through. And he's very excited. He gets a call. Boss, he wants an interview. The boss calls it, wants an interview. You're all excited. You go down there, and you really want this done well. You know what I'm saying? And you get called in, and you're sitting there. You go to the office, and he's like, how are you? Have a seat. And you're sitting there, and you're like, you really want to make a good impression. You really want to get this promotion. Then you start talking to him, and the things you do. You show him the resume. You think that how you benefited the company, what you're looking for, your abilities. And he looks at you and he says, I think there's something here. I think that there's something that the company could benefit from, I could benefit from it, you could benefit from, and I really think that we can make this work. You look all excited. Wow, it's going great. I'm like really looking to get forward. I'm saying, hoping to get this. And he puts up a contract, picks up the pen, and you're like, yeah, I'm saying, right, sign your name. It was in. And as he's about to do that, the door bursts open, and he walks some other guy. And this other guy is like, whoa, well, you can't give him that job. Like, whoa, like, who are you? And he's like, wait a minute, you know what he did last week? He was slacking off in this area. And a few weeks ago at the water cooler, he was having a whole get to go. I'm like, oh my gosh, who's this guy? And you're like, sort of hoping that the boss will kick him out. Who's this stranger barging into a meeting? To your dismay, the boss puts down the pen and turns to him, starts listening. Like, oh man. I don't know who this guy is, and then he starts, not only that, but before that, he was doing this, And even when he does it, he has got his own personal interest in it. He's not working for the company. Why aren't you giving us promotion? He's going on and on. And you're like, oh man, quiet. Who is it? Get rid of this guy. And his boss is listening. And after a few minutes, the boss is like, he turns to you and says, listen, I really think that you would benefit, I would benefit, the company would benefit. But based on what I'm hearing, I'm sorry, I don't think this could work. Interview's over. You're like, oh man, you're like so upset. You're like frustrated. You walk out, and then comes the clincher. You're like, who is it? The guy walks over to you, and he's like, I did a good job, right? I'm like, what? Who are you? You messed my whole thing up. He says, what do you mean? You hired me. Like, what? Yeah, it was 8 months ago. You don't remember? You wanted certain things. I said, okay, here's the deal. Sign the contract. You get that. I'll come in. I'll ruin your day. You're like, go for it. You signed. Look, what are you talking about? And the guy's like, I got your contract. He pulls it out. Sure enough, there's a signature. You hired the guy to wreck your interview. Idiot. You think yourself, right? We come into Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and we're like, you know, God, we really want X, Y, and Z. We really want it. Now, there are times that God will say, look, I would like to, it's not good for you to have it. I can't give it. Whatever reason, God has his reasons. Fine. But there are times that God will be like, you know what? I think you'll benefit. So to speak, I'll benefit. The company, Klal Yisrael, the world will benefit. I think you should get this. In steps the Avera. In steps the Mekatreg, the accuser. And he's like, wow, you can't give him that. And he starts yelling all the stuff you did. And you're like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the guy you hired 6 months ago, 10 months ago, 2.5 years ago. You remember? Here's the contract. Here's your signature. You wanted something. The exchange was, I'm going to come in and wreck your chances. And you took it. There's your signature. Wow, what an idiot. And we do that. That's what we do. It's pretty bad. Tshuva has the power to burn that contract. We did it. We messed up. And they're waiting for us. They're waiting. They're up there, and these guys with their, all the averas we did, all the accusers, they're all ready to go. And Tshuva has the power to burn the contract, get rid of them, gone, disappear, don't exist. And then when you come to ask for what you want, no one's stopping you. Say something else. There was a guy, this is a true story, actually. It's a true story. There was a guy that was working for a construction company here in Israel. Okay, many years, he's working for a construction company. He's working for whatever it was, 25, 30 years, you know, dedicated, good worker, hard worker. And then at a certain point, he wants to retire. Okay, so he goes to the boss and he says, look, I did my thing. I put my time into the company and it's time to get the pension. I want to relax. I'm an old man. I want to retire. So the boss says, okay, we'll get back to whatever. The boss gets back to him and says, listen, we want you to do one more job. He's like, listen, I put in my time. You know what I'm saying? I got a whole thing. I was a loyal worker. I was a hard worker. I did a good job. You know, he was in charge of constructing various things. I want to retire. And the guy puts pressure on him. No, one more job. You really got to take this last job. I'm like, you're all frustrated. Like, you know what I mean? And he puts pressure on you to take it. Fine, I'll take the job. Fine, I'll do it. I'll take the job. He tells you, listen, someone hired. He wants this really nice big house in a certain area. He wants it started, the construction, the architect, everything done. Your project, when it's over, you can retire. Fine, you know, he pressured you into it after all these years. A little annoyed, a little frustrated. You know, I did my thing. I put my time, you know, and I'm still getting pressured into this. But fine. I'm assuming the guy wasn't so frum, I like to think. And then the guy gets to the job, but because he's like upset and he feels like he was like sort of like twisted his arm into it. So he's not really into it so much. So they do the job, but it's very flimsy. He's sloppy about it. There are parts that aren't done well, and he knows that, and he just doesn't care because he's like, I want to get out of this early. You know what I'm saying? I want to retire. So he does a very sloppy job. Okay. A few months later, he does the job, but he knows it's not good. He knows things are going to fall apart soon. He knows it's not done well, not done according to the plan, and he doesn't care because he's just like annoyed with the whole thing. He wants to quit. He wants to retire. Fine. Comes back to employer after a few months, and he comes back and he hands him the keys to the house. He says, here, I'm done. I'm retiring now. Now it's okay. I can go. And the guy smiles at him and says, yes, now it's okay. We're done. I really thank you for everything you've done. And in appreciation for all the years of hard work, give him back the keys. It was a bonus. They decided as a bonus for all the work you did, they gave you a brand new house. And you realized, wow, I just wrecked that house. I just spent 4 months working on the house. I didn't know it was my house. It's a true story. I'll tell you worse. When you're a worse story, I'll tell you one that's really bad. This is also a true story. It's even worse than the previous one. A guy, I don't know the background. This is part of the story that I know. The guy comes home, some guy, I don't know who he is, I don't remember, whatever. The guy comes home from at night, whatever, and sometimes people park, and they block his driveway and whatever, and he pulls in and he's about to pull into his driveway and some car's there. He's like all frustrated and he's tired and he's hungry and I don't know what. So he said, who parked this car in my driveway? So he's all frustrated, like, what a chutzpah, he's all upset and maybe he had a bad day at work, I don't know. So he's all annoyed. And he says, and he's like, the guy's parked, it's bad enough sometimes he blocked my driveway to park in my driveway. So he's all, I'm going to teach him a lesson. There was construction going on in the street. The guy goes, he gets a bucket of cement. He goes to the car, boom, all over the car. That'll teach him a lesson. When he tows the car away, he won't park here so fast. Okay, it's a true story. The guy, it's coming. The guy walks into the house. Surprise! He's standing there, his family's all there, surprise birthday party! And as one of the sons walks over and says, Dad, as a birthday present, we all chipped in, buy you a new car. Ouch. Now, you can I don't know what you can do. What do you do with that now? You know what I mean? You want to go see it? No. You know what I mean? What are we going to do with this? Stuck. Now, the truth is, he could feel terrible. And he could apologize to his kids who spent who knows how much money for the brand new car. And he could kick himself for the next 10 years. And he could cry and he could feel regret and everything. Bottom line is, the car's wrecked. But I feel bad, I regret it. That's very nice. Maybe the kids will forgive him. But the car's wrecked. That's it. You wrecked the car. We destroy stuff that is ours. Person does averos, he wrecked things that are his. You do mitzvah sloppy, you do mitzvah with your own intention, interest, whatever it is, you mess it up, you damage it. Now, you can say wow, God, I feel bad, I feel terrible, and you can be sincere. I really do feel bad. I feel regret. You could say that, and it's true. Bottom line is, the car's wrecked. Bottom line is, the house is damaged. It's done. Tshuva has the power to recreate, reconstruct. Brand new car, not a scratch. It's a creation that God made called tshuva. That it's able not just that God will forgive you. Okay, fine, you regret it, I forgive you. But to reconstruct the damage, recreate what you had beforehand. Brand new car without a scratch. That's what tshuva has the power to do. How can you not take that? Say one last thing. This is a little bit harsh, really, and I was sort of debating if I should mention it or not. And maybe for non-Spartan, you could turn off now. I don't know. I'm not sure. But you know what? I figure, and I also nervous if I should say it, but I decided, you know what? Whatever. I don't know. It's because for all of us, myself included, I think we should say things that are sometimes harsh. Say Rosh Hashanah, we should talk about it. Here's the question. Person does an avera. Which Yisurim do you want to take? You could choose. Let's say God opens it up. God's like, you know what? Averas, you got problems. We got to fix it. You pick what you want. Would you like to? Serious health issues? Months of treatments? Hospitalization? Suffering? Pain? No. Serious financial issues? That'll work. No, I can't. Pressure at home with the No, no. Okay. Problems with kids? Maybe you want to take that one. No. No, who wants to have trouble with their kids? No, I don't want that. Troubled marriage? How about that? 10 years of a messed up marriage. No, thanks, God. No. I was like, you can pick. You call it. You're calling shot. You pick what you want. Or you can do tshuva. That's the alternative. You can keep your health, keep your family, keep your finances, keep your sanity. Tshuva. Could anybody afford not to do it? Could someone say, no, I don't need it? Who could say that? None of us want any of those things. There's a way out. How can a person not take it? All these are the power that tshuva has. It has the ability to get rid of all the accusing angels that are ready and waiting. Destroy, finish, gone, evaporated, don't exist. It has the ability to reconstruct destruction that we did, damages with Averas, has the ability to fix up the mitzvahs that we didn't do right or we missed. Fixed up, brand new car, brand new shining, everything's perfect. All the damage is gone. It has the ability to take away, chas v'sholom, any of the list. We all know stuff. We all know people that are suffering. Maybe ourselves, we all know. There's no exceptions to this. We all know people. None of us want those things. It has the ability to get rid of all of that. How could a person not take that route? If so much at your fingertips, you have so much waiting for you. It's the easiest thing. How can you not do it? How can you just ignore that? All this is the benefit, is the power that tshuva has to offer. And it's a creation that God made because it's not normal. A person did something wrong, you caused damage, you created angels, they're there. And God's like, no, I'm going to create a concept called tshuva before I make the world. That it exists to fix everything. How can we not take that? Now, the truth is that people get scared off. People get scared off from tshuva. It's too hard, it won't work, tried in the past, it's too much, it's too intense. People, it's a nice idea, we tried. There's all kinds of ways that people, I can't become the guddle overnight, and you know what, we're not going to, so why bother? So the truth is that is what I would like to deal with in the next class, the next session, the next time we meet. How we could tap in to get all those benefits for the standard, regular, common, everyday Joe like us. How we could get all those benefits tshuva has to offer without becoming, Rav Yashiv and Ravadia overnight. All that we have for us. So the next session, Bez Shem, we're going to do Bli Neder, which is, I think, Sunday in a week and a half. I think week and a half, some of that. We're going to talk about the process, how we could get it. And it's going to be done on a very, very down-to-earth, very hands-on, very simplistic method that all of us could use, that all of us could benefit from, so that all of us could tap into all those benefits that tshuva has to offer, which we all want. Okay? We'll open for questions. First of all, I want to say something. Everybody has a big shkar to Altman and to Herschel for all of the stuff they did organizing these things. It's really something special. If guys have any questions, we can open up. Otherwise, we'll.
If you have questions, there's a chat. Oh, it's not working that way. Sorry, 1 second. So if you have a question, just raise your hand physically. I might not be able to see all of you, and I'll try to unmute you one at a time. If anybody has a question, you guys are all polite.
I have a question.
Good. You unmuted yourself. Excellent. Menachem. Great.
So, hi, Rabbi Lieber. It's been a long time.
Yeah, how are you?
Hashem, okay. So, quick question. So, can you do tshuva on behalf of others?
You can hear me? I can answer?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Everybody heard the question?
So I can elaborate just a little bit. The question basically is, can you do tshuva on behalf of others? So oftentimes you may have things affecting you in life, or you might be affecting other people's lives based on your doing or not doing tshuva, or other people's doing or not doing tshuva. First of all, is that a reality? So let's say someone in your life, let's say is a Rosh, and therefore you're getting a surim, you're getting effective because of that Rosh in your life. Can you do tshuva? Can you do so that effect does?
Great. Okay, so correct me. Part of it was a little bit cut off, but I think we're asking if a person affects someone else negatively and they do errors now, could I do tshuva on their behalf? That's your question? Okay, it's a good question.
Yeah, to some extent.
Okay, first of all, you could certainly do tshuva. Tshuva works for anything that you've done, you can do tshuva for. Even if you affected someone else, for your part of things, you can do tshuva for. He has free choice. But even your impact on things, you can do tshuva for. Even though a person could do tshuva for anything across the board, and by the way, there's zero exception to that rule, zero. There is nothing that can't be done with effects with tshuva. There are cases where the tshuva is harder to do. And in cases where a person affected others, again, depends on the details, but part of the tshuva might have to be to try to fix the damage, to speak to them, that kind of thing. Even if you can't fix them completely or do tshuva on their behalf, but you might have to take steps to somewhat undo damage that perhaps the person did. But for your actions, including the way you affect others, tshuva covers everything, could fix everything. It might be difficult, but it's definitely possible. And maybe how to do it might depend on the exact case. Okay?
Okay, there's another question here. Mr. Here we go.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Was it?
Hey, how far is too far gone? The Roman Call talks about the possibility of destroying your soul. Is that, like, how do you know when you've destroyed your soul so far that, like, tshuva is not an option anymore and stop wasting time, like, crying? He's very vague. He doesn't really explain, like, how far gone someone has to go to destroy their soul. But where is that point?
Well, okay, the question was, it seems, Ramchal seems to say that a person could destroy his soul. So, like, how far is it, like, at what point do we hit that line? Once you destroy it, Pashas, you can't fix it. That's what he's saying. I'll tell you something. You can hear me? You good? One of the greatest people ever, on par with Rabbi Akiva himself, was Acher, right? Elisha ben Avuya. He could have done tshuva, even though God said to him, "You're gone, you're finished." Mefarshim say he could have done tshuva. So, to what extent a person has to go to destroy their soul and what Ramchal means, I'm not sure, but I can tell you that none of us are Elisha ben Avuya. We could not do what he did. So it's impossible to get there. For us, for sure it's impossible. Because even he, with all his goodness, and again, we can't do the damage he did, and even he could have done tshuva. So I'm not answering your question, but I'm telling you that it's a more hypothetical question, not a practical question. No one that we have in contact with or know will be in that group, and no one should feel themselves, oh, I'm done X, Y, and Z, it's impossible, I'm out of here already. I'll show you one more thing, by the way, from last week's Parsha. Last week's Parsha starts off, what's the first part of the Parsha? Wait a second, I take it back. Third part of the Parsha, whatever. Ben Sor and Mare. Right, familiar? The kid messed up. So what's the halacha there? You stone the kid. Why are you stoning him? You're killing him for stealing. You don't kill for stealing. So the pshat is, everyone knows this. The pshat is that he gets stoned because of what he's going to do. That means God is saying, this kid is finished, gone, forget about it. He's not going to kill him now. Because this guy for sure is messed up. He's lost. Okay? That's the only time that we see someone is lost. That means in the case, and none of us are in that category of Ben Sar, you can fix. So I hear your question. I'm not answering it to what extent one has to go, but I'm just pointing out that it's not a practical question for any of us. It's a hypothetical question.
Matt,
Yeah, I have a question.
Oh, like, you hear me? Okay. I don't know if you can, but
So follow. Is it just talking? No? Okay. What he was saying, can you do tshuva for other people? I don't know what Ashkenazis say for Tachanun, but Sephardi's we say Ana, and then we say Hashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu. So why is it like plural, like us, if we're not only doing tshuva for ourselves?
Okay, Matt is asking that that if we're doing tshuva only, if we're doing tshuva for ourselves, not for someone else, what are we saying? Hashamnu Bagadnu, it's all in plural. You find a few places where we could do tshuva. It's not on behalf of the other person. If he does an avera, he has to do he's got to do his own tshuva. However, besides his avera, you have an aspect of kol yisrael ravens also. Therefore, what he does could damage me, and vice versa. And the klalistic group type of tshuva helps for that aspect. It does not mean that he's exempt from tshuva and he does nothing. That's not going to work for him. The part that connects us, for that it'll work for.
Yeah, I have a
Kevin, did you have a question?
question. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, Kevin.
Okay, I see that there's only one more of these. Why is there only one more?
I'm going to jump in and answer that one, Kevin, and everybody. We've planned 10 chaburas for Elul Zman. We have 5 rebbeim, each of whom giving 2 chaburos. And then we're going to send out some surveys to all of the participants, to all of the alumni who didn't participate, to talk about what they might want for the winter Zman. And we'll put together a menu of programming according to everybody's ability and interest.
I just want to point out, you can't have one act with Kevin around without some Kevinizing going on. So we're good for that. Appreciate that. Excellent.
Rabbi?
I'm glad to have contributed.
Hold on. No. Rabbi?
No, I'm listening.
All right. Basically, there's 2 types of tshuva. Tshuva meira, tshuva v'ahava. They say you need that avava is better because it takes all of your mitzvos, all of your averos, and turns it into mitzvos. Is it possible to jump to tshuva v'ahava without tshuva meira, or is it that one should focus on the lower level to get to the higher level? You know what I'm asking?
I hear you. Yeah, his question was somebody else. His question was, since you have tshuva me'ava and tshuva me'ira, and tshuva me'ava is greater, it's possible tshuva me'ava and skip the tshuva me'ira level. Just go straight to the top. Let me think for a minute. I have a source for that. Not sure. I'm not sure. It's going to think if there's a source that you could ask the question as far as avoda in general. Could a person serve God mi'ava and skip the Yira part, even though you find sources that it levels? You see that as levels. Could a person sort of jump it and go straight to Ava without Yira? I don't know. I don't know. Not sure.
Okay, if there are no more questions, we'll wrap it up. Any more questions?
Okay. It's great seeing you guys. And like I said, Beth in Sunday in a week and a half, I think it is, right? I think Sunday in a week and a half. We're going to talk about how we could. Okay, 1 second. I'll get back to that. I'm just going to raise. How we could tap into all the greatness that Tshuva has to offer on our own level in a practical, hands-on way that we can cope with. This is private. Okay.
Well, Rabbi Lieber, on behalf of everybody, a huge yasher kayach to you. Rabbi Altman, a huge yasher kayach to you for facilitating this. And to all of our brother alumni out there, B'kol Makom Shehem, thank you everyone for making the time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Well, I want to point out, I see Devin Ben sent me something. I'll send me an email. I'll do it by email or call on the phone.
Thank you.
Bye, Rabbi.
Bye, Rabbi.